The name of my company is Sam Agrobiotech. I started working in the space of aeroponics in about 2004 when somebody introduced me to the team at NASA who was working on cultivating potatoes in the space at the International Space Station. Today I choose to still speak of it as a tool for research rather than a commercial activity. The video you are seeing now is our commercial implementation of that. We grow potatoes, and we grow potatoes for the purpose of seed production. Okay, but there's still a whole lot of work to be done. Hence, I still will wish to speak of these as a tool for research. What you're seeing now is our aeroponics facility, where we specialize in producing seeds of potatoes, where we have a controlled environment. You saw the aeroponic growth chambers and you saw the root system in that. Potato being a winter crop, you need this whole cooling mechanism for tuberization to happen. So since 2004, we have done continuous research to bring it to this stage where we can demonstrate commercial viability of such a technology. You need a lot of phytosanitary conditions, especially when you grow on scale and you wish to be commercial. At research stage, you may not need so much of this one, but hygiene generally is a good practice. Please make sure that people working are aware of these. So here's this person harvesting microtubers of potatoes. The advantage is we can harvest it at whatever stage we want. The two pipes you are seeing below are the pipes that will feed nutrition. I will come back to that in a while. This is our facility at a town called Davangere, which is about 350 kilometers off Bangalore. We have a tissue culture lab, we have cold storage, and we commercially multiply seed potato for farmers. We produce a generation 1 seeds. So let me just switch over to my presentation. One second, please. Yeah, I will just switch over to my presentation. So just a little about myself as I speak of this and share to you. So what I specialize in today is about commercializing new technologies. So this is one classic example where as a science and research tool, it's proven, but as a, what I would call, one second. Let me get this right. Yes, thank you. So here we go. Yes. So you saw the video. Now, what makes a quick little summary of how is aerophonic different from so-called hydroponics? Because we all are familiar that in hydroponics we have many varieties of hydroponics. Because most people trying to push technology would like to say something distinct about their method or approach to soilless cultivation. Okay. First part, if you have to call anything aeroponics, is there is no growing media. Okay. It's not even standing water. Second, you must have a flexible collar, some way of mechanically holding the plant in air. Okay. And this collar needs to be flexible. It cannot squeeze the throat of the plant. Second, the root system must itself be enclosed in a chamber. It should be a dark chamber because roots do need to be protected from sunlight. Fourth, you need some mechanism of misting nutrients. That's what is distinct about aeroponics. You are not having a continuous flow like in NFT or in deep water culture. Here you are continuously misting it at different intervals. So there is a certain electronics that controls these. And last but not the least, it must be controlled environment agriculture. Aeroponics cannot be done without controlled environment because this is not the best. So what makes aeroponics unique? Aeroponics is unique simply because of what we call as dissolved oxygen. In the mist, nutrient mist that you're spraying, there is oxygen dissolved in that. Plus, because of the intermittent spraying that you do at regular frequency, plant roots get oxygen. This is important in the sense that normally when you grow plants in soil or in water, roots are living tissues. They need to breathe. When they cannot breathe, they take energy from the plant leaf system or the shoot system. In this case, in aeroponics, since there is no need to take nutrition from there, or the energy requirement in the form of oxygen that is breathed, roots will even end up using lesser energy. Okay, that's how you get higher yields. Second and most important part, since nutrient is misted, these particularly cations do not bond with the media around it, and hence it plays a very distinct advantage of nutrient use efficiency. It's a little animation that shows you how it works. You just have a chamber. There's a nutrient misting system. It's electronically controlled, and the plant grows. Okay, it sounds very simple, but let's look at some of the advantages. So, because the intermittent spraying, that is a distinct thing, particularly a crop like potato does not like standing water. You need to control the amount of time the plant is in touch with water. In our case, it hardly spends 0.02% of its time. Okay. Second, the amount of nutrient required for cultivation is extremely low because water is recycled and replaced. Second, the whole aspect of what is the man hours required for preparation of soil and a whole lot of soil related activities does not happen in aeroponics, and that's distinct. Okay. And the amount of nutritional resources required are also very minimal. Okay. Water and nutrients are recirculated. We take about 600 ml of water per plant per day in case of potato. So here's a little photograph of how profuse the root system can be. You can see that there is not a gram of soil and the roots keep growing. So a little about comparison of various techniques. Okay, right from sprouting, okay, right through the growth, you can study the whole development of the plant. One very important aspect in all forms of agriculture, whether it be in soil or in hydroponics or tissue culture, is really sterilization. Aeroponics is a form in which you can continuously do sterilization. Even in tissue culture, once you put it in the bottle and if there is an infection, there is no chance for you to do sterilization again. When it comes to reuse of effluents, in aeroponics, we do that, and it's significantly advantageous. Important part of the controlled environment, because when you want to work, say, on a crop like saffron, where you need a certain environment, it's possible in aeroponics. Like in a case of potato, we can specifically heat or cool the root zone or the shoot zone, and hence we achieve higher productivity, which is possible in some cases of hydroponics or soil matrix, not in some. Okay. Now, to understand air exchange and gas exchange, aeroponics is an ideal method. Okay. You can look at the whole plant maturing, and you can control the physiology of the growth. Like in the case of potato that we do, when we initiate tuberization is under our control. That's a significant advantage for many crops. You have an insect-free environment, you have a sterile environment. You can, mix and match external influences to the plant. Okay. There is no chemical buildup in the root zone, and you can build a feedback mechanism. I'll speak more about this in a little while. Okay. Coming to what are the research applications of such a facility? Okay. It need not be as big as you have seen. It can begin as small as in a room of 10 by 10. Okay. Particularly for crop physiology studies, where we wish to study biotic or abiotic stresses. Let's look at abiotic stresses first. If you want to induce moisture stress on a crop, or if you want to induce either excess moisture or shortage of moisture. Similarly, if you want to increase the relative humidity in the shoot zone, you can brilliantly do it in aeroponics. Okay. Similarly, biotic stresses, we know that many crops are susceptible to soil-borne pathogens, or they positively respond to beneficial microorganisms in the root zone. If you needed to study these things, aeroponics is an ideal tool. Next important part is really understanding crop nutrition. It's extremely important to understand that whenever there is a media, the media itself plays a role on crop nutrition. Whereas in the case of aeroponics, since there is no media, we have a very deep and fundamental understanding of crop nutrition. But let me tell you at this case, just as a diversion, please, because I do aeroponics, I have the deepest and the greatest respect to soil. We do not need to do anything as synthetic as aeroponics when God has gifted with a beautiful resource, natural resource called soil. We just need to treat it with respect. For that, let that talk be for some other day. Plant microbiome studies. We know there are the role of microbes in plant growth, both as endophytic and ectophytic microorganisms. If you had to do such studies, aeroponics has distinct advantages over that. Proteomics. We know that different protein formations in the plant and or when used as external triggers affect the plant growth. And if you wanted to study these, again, aeroponics. Metabolomics. There's a little high-end study that's happening where, which is an interaction of studying both the genetic features of the crop and the protein manifestations of the plant. So, I mean, in a simple way, we know that plant genetics plays a role in its physiology. Okay, if you had to study that and as well as proteomics, that's where you would go. This is one place where a lot of work is happening. Phytonutrients in crops. How could we use aeroponics and nutrition and environmental factors to increase selective phytonutrients in the plants? Okay, my own work in 2004 began with what we call as induced systemic resistance. Now, it is widely known and published that when plants are exposed to chitin or molecules of chitin as chitosans, okay, the plants develop an immune system. It's literally like giving a vaccine against fungal pathogens. Now, just imagine that if you're able to identify such molecules selectively for different crops, we can, instead of using huge quantities of fungicides, which have never been able to control fungal pathogens, we could use small amounts of inoculants, which will induce the resistance. That's the beauty of research applications. This is just a photo of the crop and the kind of yield that we can achieve. In potato, you can see how many tubers are forming there. Okay. Now, we also, let's be clear that this is not relegated to research. It's been happening for many years. When it comes to commercial applications, the largest application for commercially for aeroponics is for seed potato production. We can also work on many other crops for seed production. We will get high quality disease-free planting material. The second largest application of aeroponics is in the field of medicinal plants. Now, unfortunately, internationally, it is cannabis. It's legally permitted in America. So most research is being devoted towards that crop. Okay, whereas it's not so in India. And so please do not attempt to, and I do not advise anybody to use this for research there. Okay, since we don't have a facility to take question answers, I take the liberty to frame certain questions which I'm frequently asked and share a few thoughts on that. Is aeroponic cultivation organic? Okay, including currently in the US, they're trying to take it away from the list right now. So this whole debate and fight about what is organic and not organic is really a market-linked issue. Okay, so I leave the larger public to decide about that. I typically do not want to call this method of cultivation as organic. Okay, it for me dilutes somewhere the spirit of as a consumer of safety and of something that is natural. Okay, aeroponics is a synthetic way of cultivation. I wish that we continue to treat it as synthetic, and for the fact that we have not used pesticides, not call it organic. That's my personal view. I mean, I'm sure everybody will have different views. Many people come to me and ask, is it safe? Since it's grown synthetically, since it's grown artificially, is it safe? Let me assure you that it is as safe as a test tube born baby. They are human beings, right? For certain reasons, they had to be fertilized in a test tube instead of a womb. That does not make them any less human. So the fact that we have grown these crops in such controlled conditions, let me assure you, is still safe. You don't have to doubt anything about it. Is it natural? No, it's not natural, please. When I say natural, let's stick to the common sense understanding of naturally grown crops, which is if it's grown in soil, it's natural. If it's not grown in soil, Let us stick to the label synthetic. Okay, is there any genetic modification happening here? I'm sorry, we do not meddle with any of the genetic situations. Okay, there may be a little manifestation on the plants which try to adopt to the environment we have created, but that is not modification at a genetic level. How far are we from commercialization? Aeroponics is already pretty much commercialized, except that since there is very huge capital investments involved, it's with a select few people only. Okay, there must be about 50 projects, commercial aeroponics projects across the world. I'm happy to say we are one of them. Okay, do we get higher yields? Very often people come around with hydroponics, aeroponics, aquaponics, and all these methods of cultivation and show you numbers that there are higher yields. That's a gray area to answer. Okay, let me say yes, and let me also qualify that yes. Okay, it's only you get higher yields only when you have mastered all the factors that affect productivity. Do not assume that your first effort and second effort and third effort will give you high yields. It takes you some time before you start achieving that. And please, those people who practice agriculture, please stay away from Excel sheets. Life sciences does not work like Excel, where if I put in an X column, I mean, in a row and a column, if I put a number and give it a formula, it multiplies very well. When you do such activity at depth, you'll realize that there's so much to life beyond Excel sheet. Now, how much less water and nutrients it will use? If you design your system good, if there are no leakages, you will use almost 95% less water and nutrients. I end this with this photograph one more. Thank you so much. I hope I have set off some youngsters to think and some scientists to do some good work. Only when we collaborate and be a little more open of the work we do, there shall be progress. Thank you so much. Okay, please be in touch with the university. If there's any more information required, be more than happy to share. Thank you, Dr. Sudarshan.